Hi, my name is Chase Price, and each week I meet a new member of the community because here we make the Sapphic. And today's guest is Zaddy. You are such a vibrant member of the community. You're a co-producer of Capital Kingdom. You're involved in many ways through activism and just being an overall very present member of the community. And everyone's wondering this. So how do you become a Zaddy?
Specifically me, I became a Zaddy in the drive-thru of McDonald's. I was trying to figure out what caricature I wanted to put on stage, and we went with Joe because every Lebanese man under the sun is called Joe or Joseph or whatever. And Zaddy came from just wanting to have a play on words, so Joe Zaddy as in Yo Zaddy. When I was in university, I went to University of Ottawa. Back then, the Pride Center was very vibrant, and they had Pride Week in March, where on the Wednesday of that week, there would be a drag competition. And throughout my time at university, I told myself I would do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna compete in this. I wanna try this. And where that want to start it started when I started university and went to Frosh Week. They also had a drag show on the Wednesday of Frosh Week. And I got to watch Wesley Dykes, one of the performers from back in 2012 that was in Ottawa, a black lesbian back then, dressed as this super macho man with actual hair beard, stuck on their face, doing Usher R&B songs. I remember one song that they did called Good Kisser. I was like, am I straight? Is this what's happening? So I just was so shocked by how enamored I was with this whole presentation, and I had never seen a drag king before. And then after that, I started going to the Lookout, and back then, I think it was Thursdays or Fridays, there was a drag king night. Every single week, it was that same day. And back then, there was a group called Capital Kings. Miles Zinnia and Jack Ammer were part of that troupe. And I would watch them all the time, and I was so excited. They looked like celebrities to me. Skip to now, I start dating my partner, and she tells me that, oh, you want to try drag? Well, I know a bunch of drag kings. So she introduces me to Miles Zinnia, and that's how Miles became my drag dad. And I just realized that there weren't any representation of people like me in the community, and I wanted to make space for that. And I also wanted to, I don't know, I didn't have that kind of representation growing up. So I wanted people that are like little me to see someone like me on stage and be like, I can do that. And being Lebanese and being queer, it's hard to accept being both. It took me a long time to accept that I can be Lebanese and queer at the same time. And actually drag, in the past, I've been doing drag, it's gonna be 3 years in August. Drag has actually helped heal that part of me. I didn't realize, I wanted to just do it for fun. And little did I know, it started healing my need to separate being Lebanese and queer. Because as you've noticed from my performances, I have added more Lebanese numbers and more things specific to my culture. And even some of the songs that are in English are by Arab artists.
Nice.
So I've been trying to add more of that into my performances.
That's so cool, just incorporating that gradually, making you accept a part of yourself, whether you expect it or not.
When I first started drag, I thought I needed to fit in a box. Even though the whole concept is you make your own character, put it on stage, and that is your art form. You don't have to fit in a box. But I thought I needed to be like all the other ones. I need to be a good dancer. I needed to be extra charismatic. I needed to be flirty. I needed to be even a good singer. All of it. I needed to be in good shape. I couldn't be I'm the biggest I've ever been right now. This is the highest weight I've ever had. And that kind of altered my confidence, and I try to not let that come in with me when I'm performing, but sometimes it's hard. There's a lot of changes that I've realized that I can separate me out of drag with me in drag. And after realizing that I'm not a good dancer, I'm not a good singer, I'm a nerd, I'm not super like womanizer, flirty, but my character is, I realized I don't have to be all that. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be like all these other performers that are fantastic in their own ways. I can make my own style. And so that's when I started listening to my friends that told me, like, you can solve a cube on stage and you can play your Lebanese drum on stage. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to be a dancer to be a good entertainer. Mm-hmm. You can bring more of you into your character and have a good time doing it. The whole point of drag is to have fun and to just feel safe, and yeah, just it has to, if it's not enjoyable, then what's the point of it?
I know you're a co-producer of Capital Kingdom.
Yeah.
How long have you been with them?
So Capital Kingdom is gonna turn 2 in June, and I've been with them since, I think it was March of 2024.
Awesome.
So turned into Miles, Omari, and me. We're a pretty solid team. We each have our own strengths, and I find we're really well balanced. And the ultimate goal for Capital Kingdom is to just make space for kings and possibly like minority groups. Mm-hmm. So for example, our show in February was called the BIPOC Excellence Showcase. We had that last year. Yeah, it was really big success. People loved it. Just being able to give space to all types of diverse people, if it's not a king show, is so exciting and heartwarming to see, like all the audience interaction and joy.
And I believe I may have followed you a bit around on how do you produce a show, and we'll quickly go to that because I think it's very, very cool, very interesting, even just to see what is it like behind it, putting together these amazing shows. So we'll go to that.
Now this is a very special edition of Clearing Elmer tonight. A very special edition of Capital Kingdom. We have an all-live singing drag king karaoke show for you tonight!
Hey, welcome to our show today. We're waiting basically for people to show up. Our sound check really didn't take much time. Because I have an IT background, I came earlier so that I can help with the sound check and the setup. But usually I come prepared, so like I have like a little pouch that I have in my backpack for my personal use, and I have like all the tech things that people would need. I like to be prepared. I get really stressed about things going wrong, so I like to have everything as perfect as possible. It's impossible to have perfect things, but you aim for it. 8 o'clock is when the show starts, and our call time for our performers will be 7:15, so soon enough we'll start seeing some of our performers. All of our emails from our performers got sent straight to our spam, and we are 20 minutes from the showtime, and we're now setting up the set list. So.
Let's get this show going.
Honestly, in the end, like, as kings, we don't have enough spaces to actually, like, perform and showcase our talents, so we want to make sure that we give that space to the Ottawa Kings and make sure that they have that space and it's paid. Honestly, I want to do this again and again, and hopefully the more we do it, the more it'll be comfortable and less chaotic, but, you know,
Practice makes perfect.
Honestly, and the show must go on. We'll figure it out.
It's really cool hearing about that and even seeing a little bit of behind the scenes content. What was your first show with Capital Kingdom?
I believe it was August 2023, possibly. It was 1 year of drag for me. I noticed in the next show that I had gone to was, I think, their January show, and I noticed that it was just the two of them, and so I asked, like, I can help. I would love to help. Like, is there something I can do to help? And with time, I was also practicing a lot with Omari and Habibti for the Palestine number at the time. So I was seeing Omari all the time. And I kept bringing up, like, if you guys need help, I would love to be part of it. And then eventually they talked and they're like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So they added me to the mix, and I was performing in the March show. And no, it was the February show. It was the BIPOC Excellence Showcase. I was part of that. And March was the first show I was part of as a producer. So it kind of built up from me performing to me finally being part of it. It's been really nice. It's been hard. We never pay ourselves. Like, the only time we get money out of it is if we are performing and we get tips. But we strive to make enough money to pay off the performers and all of our expenses, and anything left goes into a bank account, which helps us in future shows. If we don't sell enough tickets, we can still pay the performers. And the intent isn't to make money, it's to give space to kings, because we don't have enough spaces. And there used to be shows in the past that were mainly for kings, or it included kings often, and those shows are no longer here, or they no longer have that specific goal in mind. And seeing all the different spaces that have performers, people that say, we need good performers, what is good? Like, it's all based on perception. We all have our own form of art. You can't base good on whether it's quality outfits and specific type of makeup that you think is good, and how much you pay for your rhinestones. Oh, if they're plastic or Swarovskis, they're not good. You know, all those details, in my opinion, is a little classist and ableist, and I feel like everybody deserves space to try their craft. And so one thing that Capital Kingdom does do is, for some of our shows, we allow a new performer to come perform at the show. We don't pay them, but they get tips from the audience. And it allows them to try performing in a safe space, in a non-judgmental space, and there's no pressure. They don't have to worry about, oh, like, they're paying me, so I bet I have to be good. I have to be amazing. They can try it out, and, like, there's no cons to it. And yeah, it's been really nice to be able to have that chance. So recently I've been running into a lot of people that are talking about wanting to try drag. And I'm like, well, if you're new to it and you don't know how to go about it, come talk to me.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so sick that you create the space, the three of you, and it's very noble that it's like it's focused on people.
I found that a big part of me succeeding was support from other community members. Everyone's got their own strengths, right? Like, some people are really good at costuming. Some people are really good at makeup. Some people are really good at pep talks and choreographing. And there's so many aspects of drag that I don't know how to do, but I can outsource it and have other people in the community help me. And sometimes it's like a bargaining thing, like, where, like, I will do this if you can help me with that. And so I think it's really important to find ways to help each other so that we can lift each other up. And, you know, money isn't always easy to come by. Having support from the community is really important. And that's a really big part of, like, the Sapphic world, I feel. I've found that it's been really easy to have people to help me or uplift me in tough times, especially in the past 2 years with the war. I wouldn't have been able to keep going with Capital Kingdom or keep performing if it wasn't for the support of our community, or, like, being able to have their help and their expertise to help me become this king. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Sapphic community.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing to hear. Have you found that how you've engaged with, like, either it be drag, Sapphic community has changed since you've started drag?
Yes. First of all, I used to look at drag artists as these celebrities. Nope. We're just normal humans that are very neurospicy. So, like, it's just a lot of people having a good time. We're all just average humans that are just interested in being part of the community. I wasn't as involved in the community. I didn't know a lot of people in the community. Prior to being with my current partner, I was in another relationship, and that isolated me from the community. And so I didn't have any ties to the community at all. So drag kind of catapulted me into meeting more people and building community and just having really fantastic friends, honestly. And I got to learn a lot also about things that I thought were a certain way. Like I'm unlearning a lot of things, which make me feel a lot more secure in my identity as well. It's also helped me feel more comfortable in my skin. Yeah, I didn't realize me putting on a beard would have this much effect on my personal life. I find it exhausting, and I haven't been performing as often. But the connection to the community has had such a good impact on me that I'm so grateful that I started it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the things that was nice about entering, especially the drag king scene, but especially like being more butch, is just like interacting with other butches, because I don't know that as much. I'm like, I don't know, like it's, you don't see often on screen, and it's like, do these people exist?
Yeah, I feel that a lot. One thing that I feel very seen since I started working with Capital Kingdom. I feel very seen. There's so many times I find myself in a group of people, and then I look around and I realize that the majority are butch women, and I'm like, what? Like I previously to starting drag and making all these new friends, I didn't have many or any butch people in my life. And it feels euphoric to be able to be in a space surrounded by people like you. I feel the same joy when I'm around like Arab queer people. When I had performed at Pride's Queer Arab Showcase, the Zapphic show, that was at the NAC, one big aspect of that show was making sure that all the people felt welcome and seen. A lot of the people in the audience were actually queer refugees. There weren't a lot of local Arabs, because a lot of the local Arabs are just afraid to come out, a lot of them. So being able to get on stage and put on a show that all these people that left their home country to come here and be safe and experience this joy of community, of being surrounded by people just like you, and see someone on stage doing a Arab Depke number with a beard on, is just, I had never felt joy like that in my life before. Honestly, that, I remember the end of that show. I had never felt that feeling ever in my life, and I still haven't. That at the end of that show, it felt like a dream. Being able to have such a big organization that I've been attending all of their shows, and every year I would go to Pride. I've never seen an organization like that make me feel so seen and welcome and safe. So that was huge, honestly. I will never forget that day.
That sounds so beautiful and so
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah. Moments like that make me want to keep doing it. later last year, there's a company called Habibi Please that I think it's owned by queer Arab people, and they create a bunch of merchandise that you can buy with like, they have divas shirts that show like Arab divas on it. They create keffiyehs and all types of stuff for queer people. And they were part of the creation of the Arab, it was a queer Arab market, and it was at Club Saw. And they wanted to have performers on stage, but they wanted them to be Arab performers. So they reached out, and I ended up performing there with Beirut and Habibti, and just even seeing a bunch of queer Arab vendors in one space, and being able to get on stage and perform these numbers and see all these people just excited to be part of it together. I never experienced that before drag. And I feel so seen that it makes me want to keep doing it. No matter how hard it is, I just want to keep doing it because I want other people to experience that same joy as I have. And I went through living with homophobic parents. I went through wanting to completely ignore the queer side of me and try to keep pretending to be straight. And this makes me want other people to see that they can change their environment and find safety and find community and joy, and life is so good, and it could be so good if we just keep helping each other. That makes me want to not quit drag. Otherwise, I would have quit a long time ago.
Do you have any advice for any queer Arabs who want to explore more of the community or themselves or anything like that?
Yeah, one thing I would say, if you see queer Arab performers, reach out to them. A lot of the times, if you see them at a show and they're just chilling there, go talk to them. They're not gonna bite. And there are places you can find community. There's a group in Ottawa called Queerabs, Qwarabs. You can find them on Instagram. They are also a space for queer Arabs, and they do events often to build community. I met a bunch of really great people through that group. So there have been more spaces recently that allow people to build more community and meet people. Don't be afraid to reach out. The worst that can happen is someone will say no to you. Life keeps going on. The best thing that can happen is you make a bunch of great friends and feel more accepted and welcome. And if all that scares them, I always tell people, like, you can come talk to me. Like, I would be happy to facilitate people's introduction into the queer Arab world, because I want this feeling for everybody.
What do you think about the Sapphic community in general in Ottawa?
I love it, and I wish we had more space for it. We don't have like a specific venue where we can go to and just hang out. Like, I know Let's Go has created space for Sapphic people, which is fantastic, but we need more spaces to be able to meet people that are Sapphic. Otherwise, like, when it comes to the people that I've met in the Sapphic community, they're all so diverse in their own way. Like, I've been able to meet so many new people in the past 3 years, and realizing that they're so welcoming, honestly, that there's some stuff that I thought of myself that was bizarre at first. And then once I started meeting Sapphic people in Ottawa, I got to realizing that I'm not bizarre, I'm just like anybody else. And yeah, I don't know, I mainly spend my time with Sapphic people, which I should probably expand my circle, but I feel so safe and comfortable around Sapphic people. For me, it's, why would I spend time with other people if I feel more safe around this group of people? But then I guess other people would think the same and then never have a diverse group of friends. It's been really eye-opening in the past few years to be able to actually find community. Mm-hmm. Honestly, none of this would have happened. I would have never became a drag performer. I would have never been so intertwined with the Sapphic community if it wasn't for my partner. And we're getting married in September. She is already very connected with the Sapphic community in Ottawa. very proud lesbian, and because of her, I got to meet all these fantastic people. So honestly, it all goes back to her. And you know, we eventually planning our wedding, and then also thinking about what our future looks like. I can actually envision it with her. And previously, I was never able to actually see a vision of what the future looks like because I didn't have a community to show me what it could look like. And so meeting her, getting to know all these new Sapphic humans, seeing all these families with kids that I could be that, it's so eye-opening, and I can do it. And that is just so exciting.
We've talked about like so many things of like community, happiness, and just like it's been such an amazing, eye-opening conversation. I have one more question for you, and hopefully this doesn't open a whole can of worms. But what do you think needs to be talked about more in the Sapphic community?
For me right now, the things that mainly affect me is intersectionality, and I've been seeing a lot more discussion with the Sapphic community regarding intersectionality. I think one thing that I don't feel this with my friends, but I know it exists. Some people are very quick to jump down people's throats when they make a mistake. Mm-hmm. In order for people that are new to the community to feel safe, you can't be so defensive about certain things. If people are willing to learn, help them learn, and eventually they will feel more safe, ask more questions, and eventually no longer make those mistakes. I was that person. I used to say a lot of bad things, and eventually someone walked me through it, and I am here now. So I think be more, whether it's Sapphic or not other communities, I think in general we need to be more welcoming to people, and if these people are safe, because there's also people that are not open to learning. But just being more open to welcoming people into your space and helping them understand what might or might not be okay, you know, like to be part of the community. Otherwise we're isolating people, and then people keep having the misconceptions of what being Sapphic or being queer is, and that's how hatred is built. We need to keep building community.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking to me about all this stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, where could the lovely people at home potentially find you?
I can be found on Instagram, Zaddy King, and I do have a Facebook account, but it's less used, Zaddy. And you can also find Capital Kingdom on Instagram. I cannot remember the handle right now, but if you look up Capital Kingdom, it'll be on Instagram, and all of our events will be there. And if you want to meet me, feel free to just come talk to me. I don't bite.
Amazing. Thank you so much, you better follow them. And thank you all for tuning in. It's been a lovely discussion, and tune in and always keep an ear out for these conversations of talking to people, because the mic is always hot. Have a nice night.